So I apologize right up front. I don't have a mic, and I normally like to get a little closer. But thank you for coming out this afternoon, especially on a Friday. And when we decided to do the Friday meeting, we thought, no one's going to show up on Friday. So I'm surprised. Thank you. This transformation plan that we are going to submit, that I am going to submit to the board on Monday night, is strictly about academic achievement. And I think that's really important, that people understand that we have to, as a district, do what's best for all of the students in the entire district. So I'm going to go through. You can ask questions. I ask that you wait until the end to ask the questions. And the format that we have followed so far is I go through the presentation, and then we do 3 minutes, a max of 3 minutes, for questions. And we have mics somewhere. Go start lines. This transformation plan started in 2001. We collected information in 2001, 2004, 2008, the district-wide review, and the strategic plan. And so even though it's just been the past few months, actually past 10 months that I've been thinking about how best to transform this district, we really started collecting information and data years ago. We're to the point now where we need to make a decision. We looked at several things. How do we become the best district in this area, in this region? Our strategic plan, this community came up with a vision of becoming the choice for Kent County. And so that's what we want to work to get there. We wanted to focus on economic growth, quality workforce, business investments and jobs, quality of life, and really the next generation. And I think for me, the most important here is that next generation. We owe it to children, all children, to give them the best possible education that we can. You know, we are in this space and time right here today, and we only have one opportunity to do right by children, and that's what we in Grand Rapids, that's what we're going to focus on. We looked at this transformation plan. We wanted to look at quality, choice, and sustainability. There are several things that you'll see in this plan. We wanted to focus on our children, what happens in the classroom, and how do we sustain this district. Our monthly budget, it costs about $9 million to operate this district a month. We have $22 million in the bank. If we don't do something, we will not exist. I just complained you guys would sound like this mic. I understand. I think it's really important that we do the right thing by the kids, right? And so in order to do that, that $9 million that we pay a month, if we don't make a change, we will not exist. Many of the school districts around, urban districts especially, they did not make the cuts. We have to be good stewards of not only money, we have to be good stewards of the educational process and where we are today. We looked at several different criteria to come up with this. There is no one or two that caused a school to get on this list, but we looked at several things. Academic performance, quality and efficiencies, best practice, enrollment trends, building capacity, infrastructure, as well as historical trends. Some of the changes that you will see in this plan, school uniforms. Where are my kids? School uniforms. And I know students, you don't like it. I get that. but it's the right thing to do. Next year, I will ask the board to support pre-K through 5 with uniforms, some pre-K through 8, so just in case. The year after that, pre-K through 8, and in 3 years, pre-K through 12. You will have a choice, though, a few days a month, right? It's the right thing to do. It levels the playing field for children. The focus becomes academic achievement and not $300 or $400 jeans. I don't know how people can afford that anyway. It's too much. We need to get back to basics here in Grand Rapids and focus on academic achievement. Athletics, part of the strategic plan, during that time, people discussed, do we have 4 teams, 3 teams, 2 teams? This community voted to have 2 teams. We don't have enough players, we don't have enough students, the resources for 3. I thought about, do we go down to 1? It didn't feel right with 18,000 students to have 1. On a basketball team, I think there's 5 players, 5 starters. I need more than 1 team, so we're going to do 2. Make no mistake, though, I mean to win. I see some of the players back there. Okay. I want to win. We need to be able to compete in the OK Conference. We're not there. A compensation study, our teachers, principals, paraprofessionals, secretaries, you guys, they are paid some of the lowest in the county. You cannot recruit and retain top-notch people if you don't pay them. I am asking the board to allow me to increase the salaries if that's what the study shows, and I believe that it will. When we talk to our colleagues across the county, there's huge differences in the salary. We want to become the best district. We need to pay for it. The elimination of year-round. Our parents, our students, they've already voted. We have students that show up 30 days after the start of school. I'm asking that we get rid of that. It isn't working, at least in 3 schools. If the new law comes out, I may have to change that, but I believe that's what we need to do. Central office, I hear you. There's too many people at Franklin campus. You guys, we don't have too many people. I've looked. We don't have too many. Do we need to rethink our work? Yeah. But we don't have extra staff members that's just hiding out somewhere. Everybody's working 6-7 days a week. This plan, it says $4.8 million. It's really about $5 million. Based on some of the information that I've received from the community, we think, my staff and I, we think that we can get another couple $100,000. This $5 million savings, I'm asking the board to allow me to reinvest $2.5 million and to put $2.5 million in the bank. Remember, that's how some of our colleagues around the state ended up in the situation that they're in. You have to watch the bottom line. We need to build a fund balance in Grand Rapids. This is the list. This is the original list. I've asked the board to allow me to reinvest in many of the schools. Aberdeen, for example, is a K through 7. I'm asking the board to allow me to have a K through 8 with busing. Children need to have transportation. C.A. Frost Environmental School, it's a great school. However, we, as a budget cut, took theme school money. So I'm going to talk about 4 schools together. C.A. Frost, Southwest Community Campus, Coit Creative Arts, Sherwood, and I'm missing one somewhere. Those are all theme schools. We took the theme school money as a budget cut. You can't have a theme school if you don't invest. C.A. Frost is an environmental school. We need a science teacher. Coit Creative Arts, we need to invest. It's an art school. We need to invest in the program. Southwest Community Campus, dual immersion. Again, we need to say we believe in the theme schools, therefore we will invest. So I'm asking the board to allow me to invest dollars in those programs so we can build them up. Centers of Innovation High is the new high school that I'm asking the board to support. It is moving the GRPS program, STEMS program, from Creston High School, Academy for Design and Construction. The Health Science School is there at Central High already. The Montessori High is currently at Central. And the leadership program from Ottawa Hills High School, I am asking the board to allow me to move all of those programs, one high school downtown, so that some of the programs right now, students are on the computer 6 hours a day. And I've shared before, there is nothing innovative, nothing, about sitting on a computer all day. I am asking the board to create a high school so we can have teachers and our students can share teachers in that program. City High Middle, I've asked the board to reinvest in that program. We have an IB program and we did not have an IB coordinator. Again, if we are going to do it in Grand Rapids, we are going to do it right. We need an IB coordinator. We talked about Coit's Creative Art. Congress Elementary will continue to be a neighborhood school. Montessori, I've asked the board, and they've already said yes, to provide opportunities for all of the teachers to teach there with a Montessori background. The board agreed to give us $50,000 a year for the next 5 years so that every teacher in our Montessori program becomes Montessori certified. There's nothing about Montessori, you guys, if you don't train the teachers. Okay? We can't become the best if we don't invest in our programs. KEC Oakley, I'm asking the board to allow me to merge Oakley and Mayfield. There's 48 students in one, 50 in another, to create one school so that we can share resources. We don't own the building. The building, I think, is owned by the ISD, but we're working with them to figure out what to do. But again, we're going to share our resources. Mulek Park will become a neighborhood school. We'll change the boundaries. North Park Montessori. We have a Montessori high school, and yet we don't provide a feeder pattern in order to increase the number of students in the program. I am asking the board to allow me to have a pre-K through 8 for North Park Montessori. Next year, it would become a pre-K through 7, and the year after 8. So we'll allow that program to grow. Ottawa Hills High School. Ottawa was built for 1,897 students. We have over 600 students in the program. I'm asking the board to use Ottawa Hills High School for 2 programs. One, a pre-K through 12 IB program, an arts program, international baccalaureate program, and then the other will remain a high school, comprehensive high school with a partnership with the historically black colleges and universities. Children need to go to college, and we've had takers on that. Shawmut Hills is a new K-8. You'll see in this plan I'm asking for an increase of 5 K-8 programs. We do those well. Parents want K-8s. We have students on the wait list. Talked about Southwest Community Campus, Stocking Elementary. I am asking the board to allow me to reopen Stocking Elementary as a an elementary school, K through 5, and we will reboundary the students on the south or northwest side of town so that we create an attendance area. Recommit, the majority of the schools on the recommit, I am asking the board to recommit as far as staff development goes and opportunities for children other than the Center for Economic Ecology. I am asking that we increase the number of slots for that program. Currently we have 60, and I would like to double that. Union High School, Union High, Westwood, and Alger. I'm going to talk about those three together. They are currently SIG schools, School Improvement Grant. They received 5 schools, $23 million. I am asking the board to allow us to create a turnaround model at those schools. You've heard a lot of talk about Union High School and the Education Achievement Authority and a takeover. Union High School is on the list for not closing the achievement gap. They've been on there 3 years. They are at a threat of a takeover. And I've had people say, why not then just close Union? And the reason is there are almost 1,300 students in that building. There's nothing wrong with Union, the bricks and mortar. We don't need to close the building. We need to fix what's happening in the building. So we in Grand Rapids are going to fight. We are going to change what is happening in Union and not close that school and bus the children across town. The same with Westwood and the same with Alger. University Prep, our new school, drive down Division in Buckley, you'll see a beautiful school. That is a Grand Rapids Public School, a partnership that we have with this community. Central, Creston, Ottawa, and Union Pinnacle, those are alternative ed programs that we currently have in buildings, anywhere between 2 and 20 students. I'm asking the board to bring those children back in the fold and not send them downstairs for a separate education. It's not the way to do it. We need to educate children in our classrooms. Dickinson, I am closing Dickinson as an elementary. It was built for almost 500 students. We have about 200 students in that building. So I'm asking the board to close that, open it back up as a neighborhood school, and we are partnering with Seeds of Promise, that community initiative. Gerald R. Ford, built for almost 600. We have 200 students in the program. I am asking the board to allow me to close that program down. It's a beautiful building, but we don't have the students. To close that program down, open it up as a pre-K through 8. And it will be modeled after the old Southeast Academic Center. Talked about KEC, Kenosha. Kenosha, one side of Kenosha was built for 450, and we have 196 students there. So I'm going to ask to close Kenosha as an elementary, create a preschool university with a small neighborhood, and we're going to move additional programs in Kenosha. We'll keep the Van Alten. North Park Elementary, built for 450, we have 136 students in that program. I am asking the board to close North Park down and maintain North Park Montessori, again, to grow so it can grow up in the high school program that we have. So North Park Elementary, I'm asking for that to close, but the Montessori to stay. Sherwood, I talked about Sherwood. Sherwood, this says pre-K 5. I'm actually going to ask the board for a pre-K 8 or K-8 global study so that those children can continue there through 8. The closures, Camp Hall Park, I am asking the board to allow me to close Camp Hall Park, built for almost 500 students. We have 200 students that attend the program. We own the building. We, the district, this community, we own the building. The city owns the land. So we'll work with the city on that one. Coble Elementary, we think it's the exact same thing. I'm asking the board to close Coble as a school, and we will work with the city on the land. I've gone through some of the minutes from 100 years ago and just trying to figure out which property do we own and then what does the city own. So we need to figure that piece out. Creston High School. Creston High School was built for almost 1,400 students, 1,397 to be exact. We have 600 students in Creston, 200 belong to GRPS, the STEM program that I'm asking to move. That leaves 400 students. 137 live in the Ottawa Hills attendance area. That leaves me with 270-ish. And even though people love Creston, I'm a polar bear, I love Creston. You cannot keep Creston open when it was built for 1,400 students and spend money keeping the building. Cost $1.5 million, you guys, to operate Creston. We need textbooks, staff members, and technology for students across this district in every school. Hillcrest, we have opened and closed Hillcrest about 10 times. I'm asking the board to allow us to sell Hillcrest. Mayfield, I believe it belongs to the ISD. I talked about that. Ridgemore Strait, Wellerwood, and West Leonard. Those are the early childhood programs. I am asking the board to allow us to move some of those programs in the neighborhood schools. Some will go to Kenosha, and then some of the property we will hold on to. Shawnee Park was built for 600 students. We have 200 students in the program. 11% of the students in that area attend Shawnee Park. And the oral death program we will move as one family. I got that from the community and it was great. Talked about the new IB program at Ottawa Hills High School. We're really excited about that. I am asking the board to allow me to do a study on secondary. It really is on the high school program. We have not figured out, not just we, I think districts across this country are struggling with high school students. And so we need to figure out what is the best way to educate students and give them a voice in what it is that we can do for them. Southwest Community Campus, we have dual immersion program with almost 900 students, K through 8, but we don't have a program for the high school students. I am asking the board to allow me to build a small high school on the southwest side of town for dual immersion. C.A. Frost, the same thing. We have K through 8 environmental school. I'm asking the board to allow me to build a small high school so that we can continue to study the environment. Zoo, Blandford, those programs are really popular. We have 60 students plus a wait list. I'm asking the board to allow me to increase the number of slots so that we can allow more students to get in. Not only that, Zoo, Blandford, City, Economic Ecology, and Coit, they were identified by the federal government as reward schools, programs that you should continue with. So, the Public Museum, that's a new program. I am asking the board to allow us to create a place-based program at the Public Museum so students can study. Talked about the turnaround model for the middle schools, and then the last is I am asking the board to allow me to study the possibility of opening charter schools and partner with other entities in this community. We have a charter school, the Child Discovery Center, and people are choosing charter schools. So I'm asking the board to allow me to continue that study so that we can, again, create the best possible district and allow people to make choices. In this process, I will submit a final plan to the board Monday night. I am asking them to give me a vote December 17th. and then we're going to go home for Christmas for a couple weeks. This has been a long process, very well thought out, and I appreciate the people that have come out to give us their opinion. Especially on a Friday night. I really appreciate on a Friday night. I thought I'd be in here by myself. So I do appreciate you all coming out this evening, and we're going to take questions under the process, but I'm going to ask that you limit it to 3 minutes. Yes. Let me get you a microphone. Come on up.
Give me a microphone?
Uh-huh.
Oh, boy. I don't sing very well.
That's all right.
My name is Brian Chivas, and I am the Center Director for a program that resides in Straight School. First of all, I'd like to say that when I first heard about the program, I liked it and I still do. I think it's the direction that GRPS needs to take. I think you need to close schools. I like what you're doing. The purpose for my being here is because I want to communicate some things that I have not heard mention of. The Native American community is a small part of the total picture. But, well, a little history. Our program used to exist in West Catholic. Mm-hmm. We moved into Straight School with the knowledge and in order to coexist with the Native American Education Program run by GRPS, mm-hmm. and another program that focuses on children 0 to 2. So if you're a parent of a Native American child, right from birth all the way up through the end of school, you could go to one place to get resources. When I first heard about this plan, I made a call to Ken Klum parents and asked about the possibility, how much it would be to lease the building. He says, well, we don't have that number yet, and even so, I can't release any information without board approval, which was very professional.
That's right.
My thing is that, by separating these programs now, again, because this has been done before at Lexington School, by separating these programs, the Native people do not have the opportunity for one-stop shopping. And there are differences in needs of the Native that are Native specific enough that our Head Start actually sits on top of Kent County Head Start's area, mm-hmm. because the federal government believes that it's important enough, and some of the norms and the culture are different enough that it requires special attention. This plan, closing Straight School the way that it is now and separating us from those two programs, is going to inhibit that. And so I guess that's what I wanted to communicate.
Thank you. And let me just address, I understand the importance of keeping the Native American program together. That's important to us as well, very important. So we are talking about how do we move the program and what does that look like?
Well, it's not just that program. See, currently in that building is Karen Potawatomi Head Start.
Yeah.
There is
Title VII.
Yeah, the Title VII
Yep.
program.
Yep.
And the not really Head Start. What is it called? Healthy Start. Yep. And see all of these things. So if you're Native American
Mm-hmm.
in the GRPS, you can go to one place to get resources, including academic help. All the way up from birth, mothers can get help with
Understand.
So.
And that is important to me. This plan, though, does take a look at, I will take a look at staff, so I'm not committing to staff, so don't think that I'm committing to that. But with Head Start, they will have the first option of leasing that program, that building for Straight. And moving the program intact for services, I get that. I've been here 38 years, so I remember the Lexington move and all of that. So we are taking, absolutely. So we're taking that into consideration, so I hear you. Thank you. Yes.
Hey, Teresa.
How are you doing?
Good. Dick Polkowski, on the west side of Grand Rapids.
Sounds weird. So
I know it. I'm too close to you, that's why.
Yeah,
Let me
no,
move.
it's fine. Y'all can hear me, right? Yeah. So,
Okay.
You just pick up the mic so we can get this.
We're recording.
Okay.
So I'll move away. I think that's
do
it.
this. No, that's okay. So I'm glad to see the plan, comments on different things. I want to end with a question, but about Stocking Elementary, because it was back in February of 2010 when the last plan was introduced. Stocking was closed, and at that time I gave several reasons as to why it was not a good idea. It was truly a model, an exemplary model in terms of a community school. Most of the kids who attended school there walked, and it was one of the original sites for the Kent School Service Network. There was an immense amount of resources there that assisted the children to learn. Most of those resources were available for parents, the families, but also the children. A tremendous asset in that community. And partly the reason we closed it at the time, I say we, is we redrew the boundaries, and we sent some kids up to Shawmut and to Colville. And I remember at the time saying we need to make Shawmut a K through 8 because I was talking to the principal at the time, and he said, you go on the far west side of Grand Rapids and you can see Kennewick Hills District and Granville driving their buses up and down the streets picking up kids that live in Grand Rapids going out to their districts. I said, because they wanted a K-8 program. C.A. Frost had a 200-kid waiting list at that time, just 2 years ago. So let's do Shawmut's K-8. I'm glad to see that happening. But going back to Stocking, tremendous opportunity to do what's right, because I know of a couple, and again, this isn't a threat, and I know probably other people are going to say this as well in their neighborhoods, but I know of a couple charter schools that want to move into the west side, the lower west side, because those families and kids are there. And they've been looking at some other school buildings. And so it's a great thing, you know, it belongs to GRPS. These students, these families belong to GRPS. It's great that you guys are considering reopening Stocking Elementary School. So I penned a little letter here for you guys.
Thank you.
And so, but I want to end with a question, because I work with a lot of older youth that drop out of school, and I mean, a lot of them. This past program year worked with over 200 kids, and we're on track doing that again. And we're actually a learning center, a steeple town, for kids that are in the Success Link, which is a partnership with all the school districts in Kent County through the intermediate school district. So we have 25 students that come to our building 2 days a week to finish high school. So I'm not quite understanding the pinnacle and what's happening with those alternative education students. What options is GRPS considering? So maybe, and the second question is back to Stocking innovation. Don't stop at just a K-5. Look at what you can do to partner with the community in terms of early learning, with the Early Learning Neighborhood Collaborative, just, you know, early learning, as Brian mentioned, what they're doing great work at Straight, 0 to 5. I mean, our governor's talking about education is not being K-12, but 0 to 20. So let's be real creative and innovative about what we can do at Stocking. Already the Kent School Service Network is a national best practice. Let's go to the next level. I want to give you that opportunity to take it to the next level and do something with Stocking that our nation needs, because we're just failing too many kids at this, you know, at the end of the day. So
I agree.
So 2 questions maybe you want to answer about
I will.
our alternative schools and
Part of the change that I am proposing with the Pinnacle program is to take those students back in the fold and not separate them out. We are looking at a program for the alternative ed program in Grand Rapids. We are keeping our students here. We need to do right by those students, though, and create the best model. So that's one. KSSN, the Kent Services Network, I was a part of the original group who created that program. And so I'm very familiar with it. But 0 to 3, we don't receive funding for that. That's really not our area of expertise. We can't take dollars from our core mission, kindergarten up, and preschool actually, 4-year-olds, for 0 to 3. But we are working with community partners on that. Yes, sure.
Yes, ma'am. Well, I find it difficult to believe that, hard to believe that the Grand Rapids School Board will put public dollars and look at closing Creston. When I hear you say Union's numbers, Creston numbers, Ottawa's numbers, it's about a 100, 200, 300 difference when you take other kids out. I mean, it seemed like Ottawa was built for more kids than any of the other schools. Did I hear that right?
That's correct.
So if Crescent can close because they're not meeting it with 1,400 or something, then how did Ottawa get so much favor that we're going to continue Ottawa as a target area school by putting K through 12 in it? I feel that we could equally put K through 12 in Creston. We could put other programs in Creston. They can partner with historical black colleges. Let's give Creston equal opportunity and advantages that Ottawa has to keep open. Because when we play the numbers game, Ottawa is underperforming on the attendance. And we know kids at Creston come from Ottawa attendance area. We know kids that go to Ottawa come from Creston's area. And I really don't understand why the school board would try to send a snow job to the public when we could do equal opportunity for public dollars and keep Creston open.
First of all, I don't play public games, so that's first. I'm not doing that. And the school board is not doing that either. Ottawa was built for two houses, a north house and a south house. And so we can then put a K-12 program in one side of Ottawa and then operate the other. But I'm not playing a game. I'm not doing a snow job. That's not I just don't do that. So, yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Kristen Bennett. I'm part of the Parent Association.
Can you come up so you're being recorded?
Yeah. I'm sorry. Hi, I'm Kristen Bennett. This is Jeanette Vargas. We're both part of the Parent Teacher Association for Native Education Program. And we're trying to keep this building open for the amount of space we have been using and everything for not just the Head Starts and the early on programs, but my youngest child will be going to Head Start. I would like to keep it right next door to where his brothers and sisters are, where they're getting tutoring, they're getting all these after-school programs and classes and stuff, which my older kids aren't doing as well because they haven't been through it. But now I have A+ students. I have children who are doing a lot better with the tutoring and the student advocate and everything like that they are getting from this building and this program. I don't want in any way this program shortened or condensed, or we need our space. We have stuff that we have been doing for years and would like to continue, but don't know if we get moved anywhere else, if that's going to continue like this. Do you want to add anything? Tell them about this.
Let's see. We have 198 students during the day, but in the evening, there's a lot of stuff going on in the evening, and it's not just the after-school program, a regular after-school program. It's a very good program that teaches them seven grandfathers. It's a community thing. They've learned how to respect, and it's not just school. It's like they learn how to important things, how to be respectful, the things that they need to learn to be able to succeed in school. Because it's not just about, it's about teaching them numbers and things like that. They need to learn how to behave. They need to learn other things, cultural things that we do. One of the things that they do, they have many children powwows there. We have sewing classes. We're there for the parents and help the parents, and anything that the parents need, that's where they go and ask for help. And we do snow snakes. We do.
In the roundabout way, I kind of wish to see actually a home made for these programs and kept that way instead of just being pushed around out for years on, and who knows where we'll be somewhere else. We need somewhere to be, because this is all together, and everything we've accomplished in years and years and years of just building up to this. Our children are actually coming out better now because of it, where I have 19-year-olds who haven't been doing as great in the past. Now I have middle school and elementary school students who are straight A students.
Thank you.
One of the things that I would like to add is that the program, like here on Potawatomi Head Start, has been there, has helped with the playground. They paid for the playground, they paid for the fence, so they contribute to this. So because they contribute and because they were there, everybody else got to use this. And another thing that's very important to say is that there's like 5 schools in that building, and that 5 schools, they are Head Starts. They're all Head Starts. And as a parent, I would not feel comfortable taking my child to another place. I like it there because they're all 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds. I would not want my 3-year-old go to a place where there's 8th grade, 12th grade, and be pushed around or something like that. It just feels safe. That building feels safe. That building is, you know that your kids are going there, and you know that they're all the same age. You know that they're going to be safe. Thank you. Thank you.
Come on down.
Hi, Miss Teresa.
Hi.
I'm Anthony Easley from Creston High School, a senior. And I really like your plan you got here, trying to strengthen the district and all. But I have an opinion on the closing of Creston. I really think if you close Creston, that's just going to send a lot of students to outer district schools, and it despirits the neighborhood, because Creston is surrounded by like 4 elementary schools, a few middle schools, and I just would like to know, like, what do they have to look forward to? Like, who do they look up to now?
With Creston High, if the board votes to close Creston, the high schools, there are several. There will be Centers of Innovation High, City, Ottawa, University Preparatory Academy, as well as, did I say Union? We'll have 5 high schools, 5 high school options.
Yes, my name is Lauren Harper. I have children who have graduated from City and from Creston. And I've volunteered at Creston in the theater for, I can't remember how many years. It's been a long time. I can't believe that you would consider closing Creston and their beautiful theater. We've put so many years of hard work putting on musicals and plays, and not even considering consolidating City and Creston into one building. It's a very good possibility, and I don't know why you wouldn't consider that.
I have been asked to merge the 2 programs together. City is a test-in program, and we did complete a survey, and that's not what people in the community want. So.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm a student at City High Middle, and I have a concern about the uniform policy. We actually wrote the petition against.
Hey. That was pretty smart.
Thanks. So it might not affect the high school students anymore.
Yet.
Yet? Okay. But we still have an opinion about it, and we feel pretty strongly about it. I've had to wear uniforms since 1st grade and I have to say it didn't feel like it changed anything about the school. I was actually severely bullied in first through 7th until I came to City, and it didn't seem like it changed anything. It didn't have a sense of unity in the school. It more, I don't know, it didn't really bring us together more. They kind of pushed some of the kids away. But then it kind of doesn't, I didn't really seem to feel the creativity in the area. It was kind of everybody smashed together into one school with just one idea, and it didn't really seem like a family kind of area. I don't know, but.
All right, thank you.
I think that a big problem with the uniforms would be that parents couldn't afford to buy their kids uniforms and clothes to wear on the weekend or when they get home, because no kid's really going to want to wear their school uniform outside of school. No offense, but I'm not going to wear a GRPS logo to the mall.
Why not?
And so instead of like lowering the prices so that parents would have to buy like less expensive clothes for their kids, they would just add to the price, because they would have to buy a uniform and clothes to get home or to wear at home. So yeah.
I also don't think it would change the price of what the kids wanted to wear either. I think they would still want their like expensive jeans or something, but.
Thank you. Pretty clever to do that petition against me and say no choice. I did appreciate it. Any other questions?
I want to add to that. First of all, I want to say that it's very nice that you guys came and, voice your opinion as a teenagers and, as those that are going to wear the uniforms. But there should be zero tolerance for bullying. I'm sad that you had to go through that wearing uniforms and that you were bullied. I'm really asking that there should be zero tolerance for bullying. And uniforms would help parents, it should help parents, because sometimes they cannot afford expensive stuff. And I agree that it should be focused on academic school instead of what you're wearing. And it's just zero tolerance to bullying.
Thank you. That's all right. Come on.
I'm sorry I forgot about this in the original when I first. When you said the uniforms for pre-K, being somebody who works or more accurately oversees people who work with younger kids, the pre-K kids learn by playing, and they're not going to be sitting in desks. They need to have movement and clothes that allow them to use their physical motor skills. And I think if you're going to dress them all the same, at least keep that in mind. Okay. I personally like the uniform idea. Sorry, but that's. I just want to speak specifically to pre-K.
Okay.
The second thing I wanted to talk about, I was a football coach for 19 years, and I noticed that you talk about the sports teams. Going down to only 2 sports teams, even though despite the numbers that you have, I view athletics as an integral part of the educational process. And I don't know how you could do this, but to have some kind of offerings that would allow kids to experience the discipline and the organization and some of the things that they get out of a well-run athletic program, it's not, a lot of times athletics turns into the athletes feel a sense of entitlement, but they have to learn things different than that. So if you have a well-run program, that isn't going to be there as much. And I'm just fearful that as the years go on, as numbers go up and kids just may not be interested in being on a football team that has 80 people because they just won't be able to ever play. And I just ask you to keep that in mind.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Jessica Carr, and I'm a parent at Montessori and a parent at City. And I would just like to ask that while you grow the Montessori programs, that you do it correctly in the way that consultants recommended doing it. Like that, for example, teachers should have to get their certification and go do a hands-on program, not be able to do an online program, that be in writing somewhere, that the online Montessori certification for teachers isn't enough, because Montessori is a hands-on curriculum, and the teachers really need to go get that certification. And we've had consultants come in and do research on how to grow our program from the base, building the children's house so that it feeds and grows the high school. For example, this past year, we added a classroom at the 4, 5, 6 level, and really we needed a classroom added at the children's house so that the kids are coming up with the Montessori knowledge.
I did not mean to insinuate that you would play games. What I meant by the numbers game, and I respect a lot of people, I grew up with a lot of people on the school board, what I meant was, we hear that Creston has 600 kids, and when they lose 200, they're going to be 400. Ottawa, how many kids are going there? And when they lose the Pinnacle program, how many kids are going to be there where it built for 1,600? We're not hearing those numbers, that's all I'm saying. And if we're emptying out the GRPS building, it is empty for a 8th grade, 6th to 8th grade that feeds into Creston to keep the numbers up and keep it a traditional school. That's all I was saying.
No, I get that. People have chosen not to have they didn't want the 6 through 8. We did consider closing Riverside and moving Riverside into Creston. That was not a choice. They didn't want that, so I get that. Is what information public? Yes, we have some information.
My name is Trent. This is my mom right here. I'm a student. I just started at Creston this year. I was at Ottawa Hills. And now I feel like coming over to Creston, from where I started at, my grades have miraculously changed. I feel better at Creston. I feel like it's a better work program. And my coach, he commends me every day of how much I've improved. And I just started basketball over at Creston, and that's not just my team, that's my family. And basically I feel like breaking up or closing down Creston is kind of like breaking up a family, something that I've never had a bond with a team like that before, and separating us it's a little sad. And I just wanted to know, like, by closing down Creston, what benefits, like what changes will be made, what benefits does it have to the community, basically by breaking up a family?
Be gentle.
I'm a mother first. What I do is I love students and I respect them for voicing their opinion. And so it does deserve a respectful answer. And so I will be gentle, not because it's yours, but because I appreciate young people coming out. Because you know what, you guys, this really is all about them. It is not about us. It really isn't. And if we don't create an opportunity for every child in this district, we will not survive as a district. And I get that we love our schools. I love the whole district. all 18,000. And as difficult as this is, and it is really, really difficult, we have to keep the entire district in mind when we make these decisions. And so I could come at this without a preconceived notion of which schools we were going to close. I ran the numbers. We looked at everything. So I didn't start this process to say I'm going to close Creston. That's just where we ended up. And Gert, you asked a question about the Pinnacle. There's between 5 and 20 students at Ottawa in the Pinnacle. Those students are going to come upstairs. There is a huge difference. And I looked at that. It really does. I would love to say, let's keep Creston. You guys, people have voted with their feet. They're not here. I want them to come back. I would love that to be true. The fact of the matter is, when we take $1.5 million to operate a building, there are other children in this district that will go without. We cannot create a district of haves and have-nots. It's just not the right thing to do. Every child, not depending on your zip code or the savviness of a parent or your test scores, should determine your outcome in Grand Rapids. We can't do that. We have to think about all 18,000, all of them. As difficult as this is, no one loves the district more than me. There is not a person in the city that loves Grand Rapids Public Schools more than I do, and not because I'm superintendent. I've loved this district for almost 50 years, every day. But the deal is, you guys, we as a community, as adults, we can't pit one school against the other. We can't do that. We need to come together as adults in this community and say, we are going to fight for every child in every classroom, even if it doesn't feel right. Where we are right now in this space, in this time, we, adults, must do right. It is difficult. I've had many sleepless nights, but at the end of the day, I can look at myself in the mirror, and that's what I want all of you to do. It is the right thing to do. I could have taken the easy way out. I've had people say, why didn't you leave well enough alone for 2 years? That's not my style. I'm going to put us on the right path so we can survive. We are a year from being Detroit, the Heights, Ypsilanti, Pontiac, Saginaw, name them. We either decide our fate in Grand Rapids or someone else will decide it for us. I am the person that the board picked to do this. And I'm grateful because I love you most. But I love all 18,000. And that's what I'm asking you to do. You need to, as adults in this community, don't just fight for your own. Provide the best education for all children. That's what we do in Grand Rapids. And that's what I'll lead. And we're not all going to be happy. I'm not happy. I don't love the whole plan. But I guarantee you, when I submit this plan on Monday night, it will be for every child in this district. Even those who may not have the parent to come up and convince me on what to do. I will represent every single one of them. Come on up, Mary. Sorry for getting on my soapbox, but you guys, we got to do this for GRPS.
Hi, my
Yes,
name's
ma'am.
Roxanne Boggs, and I have a child at City, one at UPrep, one at Aberdeen. I have grandchildren at Congress. I have them all through the Grand Rapids Public Schools. My question is, I just moved over by City, which is obviously going to be Creston High School neighborhood. Where are these children going to go? That's my question. And high schools, they got an option for. And Ottawa and Union are not on my top of the list. I had my own child went to Ottawa. Never graduated because the kids were mean to him, because he was handicapped. He quit because he had to ride a bus for 45 minutes every morning to school. Is that fair to these kids? I moved over by City so my other child that was a City didn't have to ride a bus all the way over to Riverside, which is one school. I won't send any of my children. I do foster care, and I told them, do not send me middle school kids because the middle school in my neighborhood is not good. You're going to work with Riverside? I hope so. This is a school that does need a lot of help. And I'm glad Aberdeen's going to 8th grade because the girl I have it now, I had to get the homeless program to get her a bus to Aberdeen, and I live in their neighborhood because she's in the 7th grade. What is that all about? Those are my questions. Where's my kids going to go when they go to high school?
We are creating boundaries for the high schools. That's one. The other is students will have the option. Our high school students ride the bus, the transit, the rapid. And so they will have an option of which high school to attend. And it is my plan that we work with the community to come up with what is best for the students as a choice.
Just 2 high schools.
2 comprehensive high schools.
I did move over by City so the one didn't get picked on every single morning because he's different. Now he can walk to City. But none of my kids can walk to Union. None of them can walk to Ottawa. They're close enough where they could walk to Creston. You closed my school now. My kids were Fountain kids, my kids were Central kids, my kids were Northeast kids, and now you're closing the only other high school that's around. The Northeast end is getting hit every single time.
My name is Jen Peterson. I have kids at CA Frost. We live in the Shawmut district, and we love Shawmut High, or Shawmut Hills Elementary, and really wrestled with school choice. And we picked CA Frost because it's K through 8, and it gave us another 3 years that we didn't have to decide what to do again. And so I want to affirm your vision for sustainability and for consistency for our kids. I know that there are going to be parts of your plan that people love and parts of your plan that people hate. And I respect the difficult choices that you have to make our school system sustainable and consistent for our kids. And so I want to affirm the move to K through 8. I want to affirm the future studies in K through 12. I appreciate even the idea of an option of a smaller high school for my kids. So I want to affirm that. And I also am a pastor in the Shawmut Hills neighborhood, just a few blocks from Sibley Elementary, and want to encourage you to keep talking with community leaders and with parents and with all of us to let us know what you need from us to make this plan work. Recognize that this doesn't work as a board decision without community involvement, and so please be very clear with us what you need from us to make it work.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Paul Hahn. I'm a resident of the North End. I have a daughter that goes to North Park, Montessori. But I want to talk about Creston because that's the school outside my front door. And as you know, have been active in the North End for quite a while and have been talking to some folks about the plans for Creston over the last few weeks, and just kind of trying to listen. And I know you have a very tough choice to make here. As I listen to folks in our immediate community, not necessarily students, but the wider community, the business community, other people, there's some real concern about that as an asset in the North End and wanting to keep that open. And I heard your soapbox, and I'm with your soapbox, but we do want to express our concern about that. And so when we hear talk of the idea of repurposing that building, perhaps City High School or other purposes, we are fully supportive of that. One of our new neighbors, Sam Cummings, does real estate, and I'm sure you know who he is. And we were talking the other day about Creston as a site versus the Northeast Middle School site, and talking about the disposition of property. One of the things I said to Sam was, Sam, we have a building very similar to Creston High School on the North End, and that's the Baker Furniture property on Monroe. That's actually waterfront property. It's on the Grand River. And it's also a building that, if repurposed, would be probably comparable to Creston High School. That's sat vacant and for sale now for 2 years. And so that gives us real pause about the future of Creston if it is to be a building that we want to dispose of and put up for sale. And so I think there might be some better options within the district in that regard. And so take a look at Baker Furniture as a comp. As a community, getting that building reused is a number one priority. But we also, we do join the students with their concern about where they might go from here. And I think the opportunity here is that we spent the last 30 days or so listening and talking about the plan and thinking about what can we do about this building. I think it's the challenge before us for the next 30 days is to think about how we can get messages out to students about what the opportunities are within the district, whether it includes something else at Creston or other choices that need to be made. One of the things that I'm getting a clear lesson on, my wife went to Creston. We look at the school every day. We, as we've raised our children, we've thought about our children going to that school as a high school. We're having to retool our thinking. And part of the retooling of our thinking is that we used to always think of traditional high school as the primary route. I think it's clear that in this district that the other choices beyond traditional comprehensive high schools are becoming the route. And I think we need to spend the next 30 days helping students that are at Creston now or future students for that building very clearly understand what their options are, and that these are good options. They may not be what we choose, and we may not be polar bears, but that there are some other good options out there. And I'd like to very much explore that in the next 30 days so that this situation for the kids in the North can be softened. It's about a building for us in the North End, but it's also clearly, as you said, it's about the children in the community. So we want to make sure that they are well settled as well.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is John Matias, and I have 2 students at City and 2 that graduated from City, so I'm thankful. We live in the East Town area, so our kids probably would have gone to who knows where because it's changed so many times. I mean, I think that's kind of frustrating there. But I guess one of the concerns that I have are sports and the way that it's shrinking down so much to the point where I have kids that have played on sports that go to City, but because of the dividing line of where I live, they have to play for another school, and their classmate right next to them has to play against them because of that. And so as you guys are thinking about sports, I'm just wondering, what are you thinking? Because there's so much division that way. The other is, I'm not hearing a lot of dialogue about winning people back. You said that we can't have this have and have-nots. It's already here. Look at the private schools, parochial schools that exist already. We're already divided along those lines. The question is, what are you going to do to win some of those folks back, as well as obviously those of us who are here? Don't forget us, but those of us who are here. But dialoguing about that, because the hemorrhaging is continuing on, and I know that you're trying to stop that. So my concern is in these plans, what's the union, the teacher union, what are they willing to do to help us in this realigning that you guys are doing, and also the creativity that needs to happen. I was part of a resiliency project among Latino students that looked at the dropout rate among Latino students in this district, and it is horrifying, really, the prospect of what they have to look forward to, even when they graduate. And what's needed to change in that regard. So what are you going to do? I like the idea of having a high school that's closer to the Northwest Side or the Hispanic community that perhaps will be a feeder school. But I want to see kids be able to expect that they're going to go from this K through 12th grade, and that it'll be coherent, and not in another 5 years the lines are going to be redrawn, so that all of a sudden now they have to rethink, well, I was going to be a polar bear, but now I'm going to be a lion, and then I'm going to be whatever. So I don't know where my question was in there. I kind of lost my thinking.
I think I tried to track you. So let me start with, you said, what are we going to do to bring people back? The same academic program that we offer at City High School, we want in every single school across the district. People come back because of academic achievement. And that's why we have to take the dollars and reinvest. So that's one. That's a way to bring people back. The other question you had, or statement, was about in 5 years what's going to happen. It is my hope, my plan, and that of the board, that we are creating an opportunity in this district so that we can stop the churn. We want to commit. The board, they are very committed to this plan, to the students, and to this community. And that's what we want. But again, we want an excellent academic program across this district. And the sports. We can't offer sports at each one of the high schools. And I understand that sports, when we draw the attendance line, that determines which team, which school students will play for. And I don't know what the Michigan High School Athletic Association, I don't know what the rules are about a school per se, if we can take a whole school or if that's by attendance area. That part I don't know. But I am working with Jim Haskins from the Michigan High School Athletic Association to figure out what's the best way to do this. I don't know if I caught everything. The Latino Resilience Project, I was a part of that as well when we first started that project. So I'm very familiar with that. The dropout rate, not only for Latino children, but children in general, we have to stop that. And that's what this plan is, to reinvest so we can create the opportunity for every child across this district. And I don't know if I missed something or not, but I hit 4 of them for sure.
My name is Jennifer Ingram. I'm actually currently the Ken O'Shea PTA president. I just want to say that I actually have 4 children at home, and my oldest is in 8th grade. All of my children until last year had been students of the Grand Rapids Christian schools. So that's, however, my daughter at Ken O'Shea, we pulled her last year because of the reputation of Ken O'Shea, because she is somewhat of a special needs student. And Ken O'Shea has a reputation of, if another school can't help a child, they are able to do that. And my concern is with the Poe High students, being that they're used to that building that has all of the accommodations for them. And also, I'm part of the parents that believe the building is not being used to its full potential with the fact of Plaster Creek and the wooded areas surrounding the school. We think that would be more beneficial to older elementary students as opposed to the preschool students that you've proposed to go there. But I have my daughter has had a great experience at Ken O'Shea, and she has succeeded. My other concern is class size. I've heard numbers thrown out of 35, which to me seems very heavy, which concerns me because I know not only my daughter, but others maybe at her level would have to be pulled from general ed classrooms of that size because they're not able to tolerate the size and being pulled into EI classrooms, which could propose another problem. My daughter, for instance, has been diagnosed with selective mutism, so she severely suffers from anxiety, and we've noticed more students coming into her class throughout the year, and it's caused her potential problems getting readjusted. So I'm worried about other children that maybe are academically general ed but do have other situations that teachers at a smaller level are able to provide some accommodations that may be not listed on the IEP but are beneficial to the students. With large class sizes, this wouldn't be feasible. So that's a few of my concerns. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. We have a great special ed team that is working with me on this plan, and Teresita is very familiar with not only the rules, the laws, but she also has spent many years working over the special ed program. So I hear you. We get that. Thank you for sharing.
Hello, I'm Colleen Mish, and my son goes to City, and he feels very strongly about uniforms, and I also do. I understand that people have said, yes, they support uniforms. I actually don't. I do think that it inhibits the creativity. I don't think that it provides the family aspect, although I have not heard, and I've been kind of monitoring it, why uniforms are being proposed, what the school district expects to gain from that, from instilling uniforms. I'm a librarian. I went and I'm a data person, so I went and looked at all of the reports and research that's been done on doing uniforms in school. I did notice that it showed that academically it could raise grade levels, but if it's for a bullying or a violence aspect, it did not make any changes in bullying or violence. But again, not knowing where the school district is coming from in proposing this new idea, it's kind of hard to say, well, is it a good thing or is it not a good thing? So I guess I'm just asking for more feedback in relation to that. And especially it did show, sorry too, that it worked for elementary and middle school. There wasn't a whole lot of research done in upper grades, high school levels.
Thank you. We are not, or the parents that I know of did not propose the uniforms because of bullying or violence. And actually the original proposal for uniforms came from parents in this community. And so we did look into the possibility. We have about 7 schools right now where students wear uniforms. And it is because of academic achievement. This is what parents have chosen. And I agree that there is not a lot of research for the high schools. It's just the research is not there. Thank you. Yes, sir.
My name is Andrew Crow. My daughter goes to Zoo School. My son was in GRPS, and I had pulled him out and have sent him to parochial school. I was thinking about sending my daughter back, but I'm wondering what's being done with the union. I'm assuming there'll probably be some downsizing. And one of the reasons I personally went to a high school that had union problems, and I can say the teachers weren't very accommodating when there was those type of problems. And secondly, when there was a teacher shuffle several times when he was at North Park, and I really felt one of the teachers was very disengaged and disgruntled about the move. And I think that really contributed to him falling a little behind, because as much as we want to say we don't put bad kids in one classroom and good kids in another, it's kind of how it breaks down. You know, one teacher can take the tougher kids. One teacher, you know, does the more academically inclined children. So I'm wondering what's being done with the union, I guess. How is that going to be handled, and what are the teachers willing to give? Because I'm not saying I'm anti. I'm just trying to figure out how this is going to work and how we're going to keep them happy in order to get these schools to perform. Because I don't want to. I mean, I'm going broke, but I'm willing to do it. And I personally am a believer in public education, but I also have to make sure my kids are ready. I mean, it's not getting any easier. So.
We are working with GREA, the teachers union. I have shared the plan, the original plan, with the leaders from the teachers union. And you said, what are we going to do to ensure that teachers are teaching, right, doing what they should be doing?
I mean, how are we going to stop the disgruntled type
Yep.
stuff?
The principals, the building leaders, are going to monitor what is happening in the classroom. I believe that the teachers in the Grand Rapids Public Schools are going to do the right thing, which is teach. People went into education for a reason. And so we're going to work with parents, we're going to work with building administrators and the leaders to ensure that.
Packet of letters for my 7th and 8th grade students.
Thank you.
I am a teacher, and this is a huge issue for everyone, and my concern comes from my students as well as for the staff. I am a member of Sherwood Middle School, and we're one of the proposals for closing down our middle school. Some of our biggest concerns are the fact that this is one of the schools that are one of the middle schools that are one of the highest performing. We have the longest longevity in staff as well as students. When I survey my 7th and 8th grade students, 80% of them have been there from kindergarten, 1st grade, all the way up through 7th and 8th grade. When I ask how many have siblings, it's 90% each class. And I think it would be a huge disruption to those families to split them up, because that's why they're there. We have a lot of people don't even, when I bid into Sherwood, I had to go around and ask, where's Sherwood? Because it's not one of those schools that you hear a lot about because people have been there for so long. We're in a very safe neighborhood down in Kentwood area, right on the border. So we're the only middle school down there that, represents, even though we're a theme school, it's more that it's a safe environment. Kids have been there for a long time, staff have been there for a long time, and we have an awesome team at that school. A lot of the kids, when you talk to parents about it, for the money issue, if they're dropping their elementary off there, they're going to continue on to Kentwood to give them to the middle schools over there. So that's a loss of foundation grant money for each of those students. Some of the other concerns is where our kids are going to be displaced. And granted, the teachers would be displaced, and it would be a travesty because we have a great team there. But if our kids are being distributed out into other middle schools, I have a real concern for them because they are used to an environment that is safe, that is learner-oriented, that they are there to learn. My first year in the district, I was at Ford. And honestly, I would rather go through boot camp 10 more times than ever teach there again because of the environment. It wasn't the kids, it was the kids knowing that they ran the building and that we didn't have backing. And I know a lot of teachers who are still there who were not able to bid out. And as of late, I've been out for a couple of years, they don't want to walk to their cars alone. During summer school, the building was hit with bullets. They've got gang members recruiting. It's not a safe place, and I don't want my Sherwood kids going up there. Now, I know that they're trying to restructure that, and I don't think that just uniforms and same-gender classrooms is going to fix that, because you have to fix the neighborhood before you can fix the school, because a lot of the kids are coming in there. And so, if anything, I would say that it should be eliminate the middle school out of there and go to a 5, which would eliminate the gang activity coming onto the school grounds because they're trying to recruit the middle schoolers. And maybe allow us to go up to capacity. Right now, it says that we're at 76% capacity. But we've got kids that are coming in from other schools. It takes them a minute to adjust, but they're successfully adjusting. We've got 3-4 kids very happy. It took them a minute, but once they figured out our environment and then they felt safe, they're performing very well. So if we could pull some of those kids that want to learn, who are just stuck in that environment, and fill our school up, I think that would be a better option.
Can we talk about athletics for a minute?
Can we talk about what's that?
Athletics.
We can.
Okay. I don't know how many coaches are in here, but the Michigan High School Athletic Association first rule of transfer is that if you live in the attendance area, that's where you go. Here's my son's situation. I'm happy that he's gone because he don't know all of this. He has basketball scholarships from Big 12. We went to U-Prep. We played for Ottawa. We didn't have to set out because we was in that attendance area. We at Creston, we're sitting out 7 games. We draw the lines again. He's going to be moved to some other school. What are the special conditions that's going to be worked out where he now as a junior, which is also important for basketball scholarships, that he doesn't have? It's not his fault that this is happening to the Grand Rapids public school system. So what's being worked out with the athletic association that he doesn't have to sit out because of the new boundaries 7 more games of his senior year?
We are working, as I said, with the Michigan High School Athletic Association. They're aware of what we're doing here. So. Any more questions? At this time, then I am going to end. I thank you for coming out this evening. The information that you have shared, I do take it to heart. I do take it to heart. And I will give the board, again, my best thinking on the plan on Monday night. Thank you for coming out.